What's up? This is a compilation of all the shorts I posted in November, so if you want to see how Merge Tactics has grown this month and what the meta has become, watch this video. Unless you also want to hear exclusive behind-the-scenes commentary from me on every single short. Later today, I'm releasing a video called Best of November, a more edited one where I'll talk about each short and doing YouTube as a whole. Choose wisely. Actually, watching both is probably fine. I promise that it's better than scrolling. Okay, good luck! There's a new ruler in Merge Tactics, and he is insane. This is Elixir Long. Lou? Look. His ability is Endless Spring. The other rulers get 4 elixir at the start of each round, but he gets 5. One more elixir, that's not that broken. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you that he gets an extra troop on the board for a total of, that's right, 7 troops. I don't even need to explain how broken this is. Not only does he dominate the early game and basically deal bonus damage, but you can use him to build crazy comps unlike anything we've seen before. And yeah, playing Trait Dummy is an absolute mess. His unlockable skins look phenomenal, and so does the Aqua Loom skin, which is available to buy in the Ruler skin shop right now. Like, what am I looking at? Now, if you feel as overwhelmed as I did trying to build 7 troop comps, don't worry, I'm gonna be posting about all the new comps you need to know, so subscribe. Oh yeah, he twerks! Okay, here we go. Whew. There are 4 new modifiers for Season 3 Merge Tactics. A Silver 2 unlocks Swift Tile. Every round, a random hex on the board will give the troop place their bonus hit speed. Use damage dealers like the Pecker or hit-based ability troops like the Machine. Gold 1 unlocks the 1-punch modifier. Use troops with kill-based abilities like the Golden Knight. Finally, Diamond brings back Mystery Shop, where the right shop slot gives you a random troop from the pool for 3 elixir, along with adding Devil Snap, which deletes the troop in your right bench slot once per game. Time! Is that world record? Yo, world record, let's go! Yes! Juggernauts is the best trait in Merge Tactics. All you need to know to hit Diamond with Jugs is the last 2 troops you should grab, so this is every Juggernauts comp in the game, from worst to best. The worst trait with Juggernauts is Mage. It's just the weakest trait in general. The ability definitely isn't worth taking up 2 slots. You always have a better option than Mage. Number 8 is Ace, because like Mage, none of the Ace troops have any synergy with Juggernauts. Your best bet is to double shield a Mega Knight for more abilities, and try and get an Executioner as your captain for DPS. And number 7 is Electric. Again, no synergies with Juggernauts. The ability can get value, especially with the double shielded E-Giant, but this is really just an emergency comp. Number 6 is Brawlers. With the Barb and Giant Skeleton, you get Clan and Undead, but you can't shield the Giant Skeleton with it out in front. And as for Barb, there's just better DPS options out there. The Brawlers bug fix just hit too hard. And number 5, Fire. Even after multiple recent nerfs, this trait still makes up for its lack of synergies with Jugs through its Splash and ability, both of which help the single target Juggernauts tons against dangerous matchups like the Witch. You can watch me play every Juggernauts comp in the related video. And part 2 of the ranking comes out tomorrow, so subscribe. Juggernauts is the best trait in Merge Tactics. All you need to know to hit Diamond with Jugs is the last 2 troops you should grab, so this is every Juggernauts comp in the game, from worst to best. And number 4 is the best option for both Noble and Blasters, Baby Dragon Musk. You can take full advantage of Noble by stacking your front and back line, or use a classic anti-assassin's placement. The Musk's ability will protect the Baby Dragon while it splashes down your opponent. This is a great comp to have in your back pocket in case these next few are contested. Number 3 is Assassins. In this classic comp, you'll want to run the Goblin for some DPS and elixir on the side, and a double shielded Golden Knight. All he needs is 1 kill to get insane value and guillotine your opponent. Number 2 is a brutal combo. Clan Avengers Undead. The Witch and the Archer Queen each have crazy care potential, and we're featuring both. You can position your queen in the front line to snipe enemy rangers, or just tuck her in the back behind the wall of skeletons the Witch will spawn while your Juggernauts stall, and watch your Avengers melt your tied up enemy. And finally, the best Juggernauts comp in Merge Tactics is Goblins Rangers. Since the Goblin buff and Goblin Queen came around, getting a 3-star Dart Goblin has gotten way too easy. If you can grab an Archer early for Clan and Rangers, your Dart Goblin will shred the opposition round after round after round. A guaranteed 3-star or 2, a crazy damage multiplier, and healing for your Valk on top. And for the low price of 2 troops, either I'm a born salesman or we need a nerf stat. You can watch me play every Juggernauts comp in the related video. And if you want to know how to play Juggernauts with 7 troops, I'm covering Elixir Loom comp soon, so subscribe. I have to get first place in this game without my elixir ever going over 10. Now, at first glance, you might think this challenge sounds pretty easy. Just play Elixir Long, he doesn't get that much elixir anyways, and then you should just be able to play normally, get through on your higher team size, and win. But let me tell you, it is not working out that way. First of all, there's the obvious risk of Elixir Long gets 5 elixir every round, so if you end any given round above 5, you just lose instantly. Even if you are only wasting elixir because you have too much, eventually that'll mean that you'll get to a spot where you have too little, and then you'll still be just as screwed. We do have a lot of Elixir Longs on the board, which is pretty good, I think, because they won't have too much elixir to work with either, so it's not too much of a disadvantage.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are running Juggernauts, which is bad for our giant skeleton. I'm mixed on how I feel about goblins for this challenge, because the thing is, they do give you more merges, which are kind of like banks that you can use when your elixir gets low, which happens a lot during this challenge for obvious reasons. But they also get you closer with every merge to 10 elixir, so it's a very fine line to tread. I don't know if this is going to cut it to be able to get me a first place, especially against these guys' comps, which are pretty fleshed out. The big difficulty late game in a challenge like this is that having low elixir makes it very hard to pivot. Usually, when you want to switch from one comp to another, you want to build up a bunch of elixir first, or sell really expensive troops so that they give you the elixir that you can use to buy other things. Okay, we made it to top 2, but I just don't know if my comp is strong enough to win. I could sell the Skeleton King. How much does this give me? 9? Right on the line, but I think I'm going to do it. Another difficulty I didn't foresee in this challenge is it just makes me play so much slower. I'm going to move the Archer Queen back so it doesn't get Giant Skeleton bombed, of course. And since I have Juggernauts, the rest should be protected as well, as long as I take it out first. Luckily, the Archer Queen does have things walk into her range, so she's going to be able to target more troops. Us eliminating the value from his giant skeleton is very clutch there. It might be enough. I don't think we would win this round, but our backline is very strong right now. Dang, that's crazy. I didn't expect that. Dude, Archer Queen is broken. My video is very late today. This challenge is why. I am a genius. Maybe? Okay, I might not be a genius, but I did have a genius idea that basically makes a complicated game simple and straightforward, and I want to share it with you. Now, the complex game in question is Merge Tactics. If you haven't played before, you should definitely try it, by the way. Every troop in the game has 2 traits, and you spend each round buying troops with matching traits, building the strongest combo or comp that you can. What makes this game fun is learning to come up with these comps yourself on the fly. It's super satisfying. The problem? It's really hard to do. So hard, in fact, that short of the top-level pro players, almost nobody does it. It's just not worth the time to learn, so most players resort to memorizing the best comp or 2 and hoping they can get it every game. But the game gets updated every couple weeks and the best comps change, and if you don't keep up, you'll get left in the dust. Naturally, I would love to skip as much hard work and grinding as possible, but constantly memorizing new meta comps is pretty boring, at least for me. I wanted a tool I could use to build comps myself, but the ones out there right now just didn't quite cut it for me. I wanted something physical, tangible, that I could move around on my desk and actually see every connection. And then the genius idea came to me. Ladies and gentlemen, meet my newest creation! Merge Tactics Dominoes. With these, building comps is as easy as playing a matching game, and you can use them right now in 2 easy steps. Step 1, print out the document, which you can find at this QR code on screen, linked in the comments, or on my YouTube channel page. And step 2, cut them out. I sized them so that they can be taped onto regular dominoes for a fancier experience, but they work standalone just fine. You can use these before your games to craft strong comps, or even during games to make improvising easy. And this season, they're more useful than ever. See, the newest ruler in the game changes your team size, so you basically have to relearn every comp you know, but there's actually an easy way to use the dominoes to skip all that work, which I will talk about in tomorrow's video. So if you don't want to miss it, subscribe. Merge Tactics just changed forever. The new ruler Elixir Long lets you use 7 troops instead of the usual 6. This is incredibly strong, but there's a big asterisk. If you're just using all the same comps you already know and throwing in a random troop, you're wasting his potential. However, you don't have to relearn your comps from scratch. If you employ this simple method, you'll be able to use the best ruler in Merge Tactics to his fullest potential. It all starts with these Merge Tactics Dominoes, the all-purpose comp building tool that I invented. If you want to know how to get them yourself for free, watch the link short. Now, once you have your own dominoes, you can use them to easily transform any 6-troop comp into a viable 7-troop comp. Here's how. Step 1 is to lay out your base 6-troop comp. There are 2 types of comps in the game that I like to call quads and pairs. Quads comp max out 1 trait and use the other 2 slots to supplement it. For example, Clan Avengers with the Knight for Juggernauts. I represent these types of comps like this. And pairs comps just go for as many traits as possible. This is common with a lot of blasters and brawlers comps, and I show these as a chain like this. Once you have your base comp, step 2 is easy. Add 1 more troop and use your dominoes to help pick it efficiently. I'll show you what I mean by that with each comp type. For quads, all you have to do is pick a hanging trait, one of these, ease with no pair. Grab those dominoes and see which ones can give you an additional synergy. For undead, I could go Skelly Drags or Giant Skeleton, and for noble, I could go Prince or Princess. Now there's an exception. If we were running this comp with, say, the Skeleton King for Jugs Undead, it would be more enclosed. So just pick a troop matching one of these traits, like the Dark Goblin for Rangers. For pairs, it's even easier. The traits at the end will either both be primary or both be secondary. All that means is no troop will match both ends. Like here, there's no troop with noble and goblin. The best you can do is add something to the end of the chain. If the chain is closed, like if the comp ran the knight instead, just try and pick a troop with 2 traits you have, so it gets double buffed. Here, the Prince is a good choice. With this method, you'll be playing Long like a pro, but if you want to know every technique and strategy I use to win with Long and the very best 7 troop comps and merge tactics, I'm making a complete guide to Elixir Long soon, so subscribe. I just got scammed! Let me explain. I've been making daily shorts for a little while now, and I have a list of the next few I'm gonna make. My short for today, ranking every ruler in merge tactics. I had a bunch of interesting things I wanted to say about the state of the game and the best way to use every ruler, so I sat down a bit before 8 AM and I wrote out my whole script. Then, I took a break, went and did other things. A few minutes ago, I sat back down to record and edit my short before it was time for me to stream. As I prepared, I opened YouTube. I like to stay updated on the current state of merge tactics, so my videos are informative. And I saw this.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
This is Retake, the biggest merge tactics creator right now. He makes great videos, I watch them daily, but unfortunately, he sniped me so bad! Actually, the content of my video was really different from his, but of course, I didn't want to step on his toes. Retake, please collab with me, please. I sat there in despair. I had to make a video soon. What could I do? Oh yeah, I forgot to announce the new clan. We made a new clan! If you like Clash Royale, merge tactics, and my videos, technically the last part is optional, this is the clan for you. I solemnly swear this clan will be active and donate, or I will kick you all. Our first ever clan war starts tomorrow and spots are limited. Join right now! Also, I'll change up the ruler ranking video a bit and post it soon. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe. Ranking every ruler in merge tactics. The Royale King can get a crazy elixir head start and destroy underdeveloped comps. However, his health is a limited resource and without it, he can't get off the ground. Plus, with the addition of Elixir Long, it's riskier to lose early and you take more damage per loss. Good for beginners, but doesn't pack a punch. F tier. Elixir Long dominates the early game with his extra elixir and higher team size, which lets him deal bonus damage to slow starting rulers and knock him out quick. However, late game he struggles with elixir, so Long players run goblins to keep up. Top players have complained that games this season are more RNG heavy, just a race between 4 Longs for goblins. However, this only applies in a full Long lobby. The reason Long is so widespread right now is that he's actually best when playing against other Longs since they don't take advantage of his big weaknesses. The more Long is being played, the better he'll be, but you can counter him if you use the other rulers right. 7 troop comps are fun, A tier. If you like gambling, play the Goblin Queen. She starts off slow, since in early rounds you'll get less kills, meaning less goblins. However, she's easily the best ruler late game for a simple reason. Goblins are the only trait in the game that's impossible to block. The longer the game lasts, the more goblins she'll get from her ability on the goblin trait, so she'll get to 3 and 4 stars no matter what you do. However, she's the only ruler that basically requires you to run a certain trait in goblins, and it's the most contested trait right now, meaning she struggles a lot in this meta against Elixir Long and other queens. But if you survive long enough, she's great, B tier. And finally, the Spirit Empress, the most skilled ruler in merge tactics. Between the hard-hitting Long and punishing Goblin Queen, the Empress has lost her place in this meta. However, there's a sweet spot mid-game where she absolutely shines, and if you can use her right, no ruler can keep up. This comes with a price. The Spirit Empress is the hardest ruler by far to learn, to the point where most players will never master her with so many easier options out there now. But if you endure the grind, the tilting, the brutal losses to luck-based rulers, eventually you'll have a ruler you can win with no matter what the meta is. Prime Empress is S, but playing her this season I either get first or last, A tier. If you want to know exactly how to play each ruler, I'm making a guide tomorrow, so subscribe and let me know if my ranking is completely trash in the comments. Here's how to play every ruler in merge tactics. First, a tip for all rulers: never sell 1-star cards. Get them to 2 stars first since you break even on elixir. With the Royale King, your goal is to lose, but lose wisely. You're always safe to throw rounds 1 and 2, so keep every troop on your bench, unless A, you're positive you can kill 1+ enemy troop and still lose, or B, you get 2 goblins, in which case you should place them as badly as possible. Once you're rich, buy uncontested cards you can stick with, and get them to 3 stars so you can cheese out a top 2 before you get obliterated. Taking some tactical losses is common with every ruler except the Goblin Queen. With her, you want to win every single round, since every kill is a potential goblin. So, look at every round on its own and use your resources to build the best possible comp. The only time you should deviate is to get goblins on the board, since they compound with the queen's ability and help her where she struggles most on elixir. Every Goblin Queen comp should run goblins, since given enough time, nobody can stop you from getting a 4-star. The Spirit Empress is the hardest ruler to play, but if you learn how, she can farm infinite elixir. Since she gains bonus elixir with each merge, every time you sell a 2-star, you gain 1 elixir. Survive early rounds with goblins if possible until you have enough elixir to sell and buy merges infinitely. Once you have plenty of elixir, check your opponents and start building a comp that doesn't overlap with with theirs. If you cycle merge as well, you'll level up your comp in no time and destroy your opponent. Last but not least is Elixir Long. He's the best ruler in the game right now, and I want to cover everything you need to know to push him to diamond, so I'm making a complete guide to Elixir Long right now. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe. Also tomorrow I'm making a short on the best comp for each ruler, so yeah, subscribe. If you hate level 16, don't delete Clash Royale just yet, because there's a new game mode that's completely built for free-to-play players. If you haven't heard, Clash Royale just added level 16, which is ridiculously unpopular. It basically screws over free-to-play players, but if you don't want to spend money on Clash Royale, there's still an alternative for you. If you're free-to-play, you should start playing Merge Tactics. There's two reasons for this. Number one, card levels don't matter. For every single card in Merge Tactics, every level only amounts to a 2% increase in health and damage. This could matter in some niche situations, but for the most part, it's completely irrelevant. In the first season of the game, I basically only had level 11s, and I pushed all the way to top 10,000 in the world against people with tons of level 15 cards. The second reason is that Merge Tactics can give you broken legendaries all the way in Arena 3. To show how useful this is, I'm going to do a free-to-play series soon using all the legendaries that I unlocked on my alt account just from playing Merge Tactics. If you want to see if I can beat these pay-to-win players out, then subscribe. Here's the best comp for every ruler in Merge Tactics. To win with the Royale King, you need 3 stars, which means buying cards that are uncontested and usually more expensive. A great comp to go for if you want 3 stars is Double Mage with the Xe and P.E.K.K.A. With the Goblin Queen, you want to run 4 goblins because not only does it help with the Queen's ability, but it also counters Elixir Long, who's also going for goblins. Look around and see what's available. If Juggernauts are taken, go Valk Archer, and if Clan is taken, go Knight Musketeer. When playing Spirit Empress, you need to do something to counter these backline heavy Elixir Long comps. The perfect comp for the job is Juggernauts with 2 assassins, but make sure to hide them on your bench. But in a pinch, you can go 4 Juggernauts with Rangers with the Dark Goblin and Archer. And finally, Elixir Long lets you use 7 troops to build the strongest comp in Merge Tactics. 4 Clan with the Witch and Dark Goblin. And make sure to pivot from the Machine, which helps with your eco, to the Skeleton King, which will give you Undead. If you want to see exactly how to play every single one of these comps, I made a guide to every ruler in Merge Tactics with these comps in mind, so if you want to see that, click the related video. The Elixir Long is dominating Merge Tactics right now, but you can destroy him with the Spirit Empress if you learn this one comp. Elixir Long is the best ruler in the game right now, but he has a big weakness. Long players are strongest in the early game, where one more troop makes a bigger difference and means they deal more damage every win. But you can leave him in the dust if you survive the early game, and that's exactly what we're gonna do by using this comp. 4 Juggernauts with the Goblin and Golden Knight. Assassins are super strong right now because backline traits like Rangers and Blasters are also really strong, and 7 troop comps will naturally have more troops in the back for your assassins to target. To play this comp, start out by going for Goblins. They'll give you enough elixir to start farming infinitely, so you can look for cheap Juggernauts, but that's really just a distraction. Early on, use your higher elixir to buy a Golden Knight, but keep him hidden on the bench until the last second. Lone players don't have the elixir to buy expensive cards like the Golden Knight early, so you should be able to get it to 2 or 3 stars, give him a double shield like this, and obliterate early opponents. With Assassin, you'll take away Long's biggest advantage by winning early, and if you keep them hidden, you can catch players off guard round after round after round. Now I hear you, some people don't have the Spirit Empress, so tomorrow I'm going to talk about a broken new Elixir Long comp that nobody is playing yet, one that's easy to level up and destroy people with. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe. This is the story of how an unfixed bug caused the greatest fall-off in Merge Tactics history. In Season 2 of Merge Tactics, everything changed. The UI was refreshed, troops were added and removed. And most importantly, traits were rebalanced, but one little change led to the rise of a trait that nobody expected. In Season 1, Brawlers were mid. Their ability was lackluster, just giving Brawlers bonus health. But when Season 2 came out, it didn't take players long to discover that something was very different, and it was all due to one little change. Now, the bonus health from the Brawlers ability was applied to all of your troops. With 4 Brawlers, the health of every single troop you had was doubled. 4 Brawlers comps exploded into the meta. Not only did they have the health to take punishment from high DPS builds, but they were actually tanky enough to take advantage of a little-known mechanic in Merge, where if a round lasts long enough, the game simply calls it a draw, dealing 1 health to each player, even if one of them was on the brink of losing. For a week, Brawlers strong-armed the meta, until October 2nd, when Merge received a set of balance changes. Now, these balances didn't mention Brawlers even once, but almost overnight, 4 Brawlers comps nearly disappeared from competitive play. Why? Well, they didn't mention it in the release notes, but Supercell revealed, on Threads of all places, that this new Brawlers feature had been a bug all along, which they quietly patched in the background. But this news still spread, and 4 Brawlers comps were slowly forgotten. Until today, because I built this, a brand new 4 Brawlers comp for Elixir Long, the best ruler in Merge Tactics. Nobody goes for 4 Brawlers anymore, so this comp is super easy to play. I've never seen anyone use this build before, but it got me a win first try, so try it out yourself, then let me know if I'm a comp building genius or if the comp sucks in the comments. Ranking every trait in Merge Tactics and showing the best comp for each one. Noble is a primary trait with 3 frontline and 2 backline troops. It's one of 2 traits in the game that has 5 troops rather than 2 or 4. This makes it awkward to use as a main trait in your comp, but its card variety makes it good at filling in for other traits, like grabbing a princess for rangers and getting Noble on the side. The princess is too expensive to compete with other rangers long term, and the prince fell off with brawlers, but the knight and the musk are solid cards with great traits, and the golden knight is easily the best assassin in the game. The noble ability reduces damage to your frontline and boosts damage by your backline. However, it only buffs nobles, and the likelihood of you both having nobles and having them in the front or backmost row is low. Obviously, noble is strong in the ultimate origins modifier, which gives you a dummy with noble undead. This means you can potentially get the 6 noble buff, which is pretty strong. However, it's not worth the 5 card commitment. You're better off picking a meta comp that will give you noble and undead on the side, like 4 clan or 4 juggernauts. Right now, the best noble comp in the game is destroying rangers. If you want to learn it, watch the linked short, but overall, the trait isn't really worth a big commitment. C tier. Ranking every trait in Merge Tactics and showing the best comp for each one. Goblins is a 4-troop primary trait with 2 frontline and 2 backline troops. The Stab Goblin is a squishy, high DPS melee troop, most useful in assassins. Similarly, the Spear and Dart Goblins have unique ranges, but are far better in blasters and rangers respectively. The Goblin Machine has a good trait and a solid ability, but his stun was recently removed, lowering his value significantly. Overall, the Goblins have good traits, but they aren't the strongest. However, their unique ability turns them from unviable to one of the best traits in the game. See, when you have 2 or more goblins on the board, you get a free goblin every round. Not only can this help you level up your cards past where they're supposed to go, but this also helps out a ton with Elixir, which is where most rulers struggle. This is the #1 way to keep yourself from losing to RNG. On top of all that, goblins got buffs, so you can receive Dart Goblins with just 2 on the board. With how strong rangers are, that's enough to net goblins a clean S tier. If you want to learn the best goblins comp in the game right now, watch the linked short and subscribe for more trait rankings. Ranking every trait in Merge Tactics and showing the best comp for each one. Electric is a 2-troop primary trait with 1 frontline and 1 backline troop. The electric troops both have similar appeals, mediocre health and damage in exchange for a strong stunning ability. The E-Giant and E-Wiz are the close and long range sides of this coin. The electric ability is where it gets interesting. The ability strikes all opposing troops with lightning after a charge period, but if the targeted troops are stunned, it does triple damage. This leads to some deep and interesting interactions where you can choose stunning troops to attempt to sync them up with the electric ability. Except it doesn't, because juggernauts and any troops placed behind them are completely immune to stuns. This alone is enough to knock electric to C tier. However, the best electric comp in the game is really strong, especially in the 1-punch modifier. If you want to learn it, pause here. Also, big news, there's a new electric troop coming to Merge Tactics next season. If you want to learn about it, I'm making a video right now, so subscribe. The new Merge Tactics update was just announced. Here's everything you need to know. The newest ruler in Merge Tactics is the Battle Machine. He gives you a building with a random star level in rounds 1, 3, 5, and 8 at the cost of 1 less max team size. You still get 2 troops in round 1, it just stops at 5. He has a few skins, including the purchasable Forge Machine skin. Additionally, there will be a Royale King Christmas skin you can buy with gems. New troops are being added. The Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Royal John each cost 2 elixir and will function about how you'd expect. I'll get to their new traits in a minute. The Monk will cost 5 elixir. Every few hits, his ability will activate, healing him and reflecting all damage. The Archer, Knight, Baby Dragon, E-Wiz, and Giant Skeleton are getting removed. They put Bomber on the list just to torture me. The following troops are changing traits. The Archer Queen becomes a Ranger, the E-Giant will become Giant Superstar, the Musketeer and Witch will become Superstar, and Machine, Skeleton King, and Valk will become Brutalists. The P.E.K.K.A. will be P.E.K.K.A. Brawler traits, the Princess will be a Blaster, and the Wizard will be Clan Blaster. There are 4 new traits in the game. The Giant trait simply reduces damage to giants. The P.E.K.K.A. trait buffs P.E.K.K.A.'s damage and heals them every kill. Brutalists gain hit speed and cut enemy HP every 4 hits. Superstars start with their ability partially charged, and every time they use their ability, it has a 50% chance to instantly refill. That's gonna be so broken. Avenger, Electric, Fire, Juggernauts, and Mage are all getting removed. Rest in peace. A few new modifiers are being added, specifically building modifiers. These will give you a building on your bench at the start of the game. Once you place it, it can't be moved. They have range, damage, and health, but aren't affected by card levels, only lose health when attacked, and don't count towards team size, so they don't increase the damage you deal. They also can't be merged. The Elixir bar gives 1 elixir whenever its ability bar charges. Usually, early rounds are too fast. The Tesla hides until enemies enter its 2-tile range, which is kinda bad since if you have only buildings left, you lose. The Expo doesn't shoot at first, but once its ability charges, it shoots at the lowest HP enemy. The Mortar has a 6-tile range and targets the farthest enemy troop, and the I-Tower basically works the same as normal Clash Royale. In other news, emotes have been added. It's gonna be so toxic, guys, it's gonna be bad. A small stat screen can be viewed during the game to see which of your troops are selling, and you can zoom in mid-round. I'm gonna be streaming the update as early as possible, so subscribe to see me learn the new meta. Shout out to Abdude for reference, go watch his new video to see these features for yourself. Will this new ruler break Merge Tactics? Supercell just announced the next big update to Merge Tactics. It's crazy. You can learn all the new stuff in the related video, but one of the biggest announcements was that they're adding a new ruler, the Battle Machine. Will he be trash? Will he be broken? Let's find out. So first we have to look at the current meta, which is flooded with the Elixir Elixir Long. Right now, if you're really good with the Spirit Empress, you can sometimes survive the early game and beat Long players, but he's still on top. So how is this update going to change things? First, the troop pool is getting smaller since 3 troops are being added while 6 are being removed. This will be a slight buff to the Spirit Empress since she'll get more merges, but I think this update will affect the Long even more. Here's why. Now, the Long isn't getting directly nerfed. However, I think his use rate will fall off greatly, mostly because of his biggest weakness. Obviously, everyone will be playing the battle machine at least at first, and he takes advantage of the Long's weak economy in 2 ways. First, because he gets free buildings on the board at set points as the game goes on, and second, because he can access the Elixir Collector. Elixir supply is already a huge problem for Long, and this new ruler will be able to leave the Long in the dust late game. This problem gets even worse because the Long is actually better the more he's being played, since every Spirit Empress or Goblin Queen in the game is a dice roll, and if any survive, you're cooked. So, as people use the new ruler, Long will struggle, so he'll be played less, and the Empress and Goblin Queen will get more chances, and the cycle will just go on. Since the new ruler is guaranteed to be played in the early season, I think that will be enough to dethrone the Elixir Long and establish the battle machine as the new best ruler in Merge Tactics. But there's something I didn't mention. There are 4 new traits being added that will completely transform the meta. Some of them are absolutely insane. So if you want to hear my prediction for which will be the strongest and why, subscribe so you don't miss my short tomorrow. There are 4 new traits in Merge Tactics, and I'm here to tell you which will be the strongest. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be broken. The first new trait is the Giant trait, which includes the new Royal Giant and the Electro Giant, since Electric has been removed. This trait simply reduces damage to Giants, nothing special. On the other side of that coin, we have the P.E.K.K.A trait, which boosts the damage of the P.E.K.K.A herself and the GOAT, Mini P.E.K.K.A. The ability also heals P.E.K.K.A troops with every kill. Should be a solid frontline option, but it pales in comparison to the next trait. The Knight was replaced by the Mini P.E.K.K.A, but Juggernauts has been removed and replaced by the Brutalist trait. Brutalists have bonus hit speed, and on top of that, they cut opposing troops' HP over time through a new marks and enemies system. Max Brutalists will be able to cut 40% of an enemy tank's HP no matter how much health they have. This ability can deal more damage at once than any troop in the game, and they can do it to multiple troops per round. But I still think that the last trait is even stronger. My guess for the new best trait in Merge Tactics is the Superstar trait. These troops start each round with their ability bar partially filled, but every time they use their ability, there's a 50% chance to recast it instantly. There is no cap to this. Let's think about the impacts of this for a second. If you get lucky enough, your musket can completely stun lock all opposing troops, the witch can spawn waves upon waves of skeletons, and the new monk can reflect any and all damage, melee or ranged. And the E-Giant is even crazier, as we've seen that his ability field grows in size with every recast, leading to potential full field stun and chip. And I did the math, you don't even need to get lucky. With 4 superstars, they start their ability 2/3 charged. It's safe to assume late game, each superstar could use 3 abilities per round. With 4 superstars, each with 3 chances, the odds that just one of your superstars gets a triple ability, which alone could completely turn the tides of a whole game, are almost 97%. I am terrified, but I'm also so excited. If you want to learn the strongest comps using the new traits, including 5 troop comps for the new ruler, the battle machine, I'm predicting the 3 strongest comps for next season in my short tomorrow. Plus, you can watch me live on Monday playing the new update as soon as it drops. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe. This update changes everything. Thanks to Merge Tactics' newest ruler, the battle machine, you now need to learn 5, 6, and 7 troop comps, but I'm here to help. Here are my top 3 comps to start the new season, 1 for each team size. The battle machine only gives you 5 troops to work with, in exchange for free buildings throughout the game. These buildings are effectively ranged troops, so you want to protect them for as long as possible. That's why the first comp I'm playing when I unlock him is Brutalist's P.E.K.K.As. The new Brutalist trait is shaping up to be the strongest frontline trait in the game. Plus, I also really want to use Mini P.E.K.K.A. This comp should do great at protecting your buildings and getting them tons of value, but I like this next comp even better since it can be played with tons of newly buffed rulers, including the Spirit Empress and Royale King. If you need a comp to push and unlock the battle machine, here's the one I'm gonna use. It plays Brutalists and the new Giants to protect the superstars in the back and get them tons of abilities. The best part, the Archer Queen is now a ranger, so she makes this comp absolutely insane. But even this crazy comp doesn't stand a chance against this last one, and I can prove it. The new best comp in Merge Tactics is 4 superstars with Brutalist Clan and Undead, but the last comp was similar, so what makes this comp so broken? Well, it all comes down to the superstar abilities. So, if you want to know why having 4 superstars gives this comp a 97% chance to win, watch the related video, and subscribe to see me play all of these comps live tomorrow. The new season of Merge Tactics is here, and so are Superstars, the most broken trait we've ever seen. So, here's the perfect comp to counter them. Superstars are the best trait in Merge Tactics, and it's not even close, because every time they use their abilities, you have a 50% chance to recast them instantly. The Monk can reflect all damage, the Musk can stun lock your opponents, the E-Giant's ability field can cover the whole board, and most broken of all, the Witch can completely flood the arena with skeletons, meaning single target troops, or most troops in the game, don't stand a chance. That's why this is the perfect comp to counter Superstars. The big reason this comp is full of splash and multi-target cards. Having Clan and Barb sets you up great to contend in the front line, and you can set up your Prince to target the Monk so it's not reflecting on all of your troops. And the Wizard and newly buffed Princess are now blasters, so the Princess will get boosted damage as she targets the farthest troops, taking out witches and their skeletons all at once. Since everyone is going for Superstars right now, it's really hard to get 3 stars, so you can use this comp to get quick and easy wins against all kinds of comps. If you want to see how this comp plays with and against the new Battle Machine, I'm unlocking him today on stream, so stop by and subscribe for more comp videos.
Look at the board! Look at this! Come on, man.
What if I told you I won this game, and it's all because of one placement trick with the new ruler in Merge Tactics? The Battle Machine gets a free building in rounds 1, 3, 5, and 8, so if games go long like this one did, you can get insane value with him, but only if you know how to place your buildings. If you do it right, it can even bail you out from situations like this. So, here's where to place every building in Merge Tactics. The Tesla has a 1-tile range, so you should always place it in the front row. Stagger your troops back so your enemy's troops have to walk forward into the Tesla's range, otherwise it'll just hide and be useless. The Pump and I-Tower should always be in the second to last row, since the I-Tower has 3 range, and it's just a waste to not use the Pump to tank for your backline, since if you only have buildings left, you lose. Now, you'd think the Expo and Mortar should be placed in row 3 as well, but there's an exception, one trick that will win you tons of games. You should place either your Expo or your Mortar, but not both, in the back row in this spot, because with another building in front, you can trap one of your backline troops. This is useful for 2 reasons. 1, your opponent's melee troops have to attack one or both buildings first, and 2, it means your troop can't move. This is good because it makes the enemy come to you. The enemy backline will be forced to walk into the range of your buildings while your troop will stay safe from theirs. Wasting this Tesla's value and having the Pump tank for my Musk and Expo got me this win against the most broken card in Merge Tactics.
Dude, that's crazy! The Expo is so broken.
Subscribe for daily Merge Tactics tips. Ranking every building in Merge Tactics. At number 5 is the Mortar. It doesn't hit hard, the fire rate is slow, and half the time it just misses. Totally useless. Number 4 is the Tesla. Its 1-tile range is just too limiting, and its hiding mechanic is just a nerf instead of a buff. Number 3 is the Elixir Pump. The pump can be useful to give you a head start on Elixir, but it's too slow at 1 star to help early game when you need Elixir the most, and if you get it as your 4-star building late game, you're just cooked. Now before the top 2, I want to ask, why are buildings so unbalanced? This is my biggest problem with the new Merge Tactics update because it makes the new Battle Machine a very RNG heavy ruler. My theory is that in a coming season, buildings will be buyable troops with different prices that match their utility. If you want to hear my predictions for buildings in the future, watch the related video. But anyways, in second place, the I-Tower. Its 3-tile range doesn't hurt it too bad since buildings aren't usually played in the back row anyways, and if it locks onto beefy troops, it can get crazy stacking damage. However, it struggles against Swarm. Only one building can counter the Broken Witch. At number 1 is the Expo. If you can get one late game, you win. It will almost always activate and can DPS down tanks and Swarm. It's easily the best building in Merge Tactics.
The Expo is so broken.
We have never seen anything this broken, and we need emergency nerfs in Merge Tactics. If you've been playing this season, you know that I'm talking about the Superstar trait, whose troops have a 50% chance to recast their ability every time they use it. It's the most ridiculous thing to ever exist in Merge. Like, how did this get past testing? If you want to see exactly why they're so strong, I did the math in the related video, but just hop in a lobby and you'll see why they need a nerf bad. However, since the Superstar trait just got added, I doubt they'd change its ability right away. Even if they added a cap to recast at say 3, which I think they should do, it wouldn't help the fact that the cards themselves are busted. I think it's more Supercell's style to balance each individual card. So, as a Merge Tactics expert, here's how I'd fix the broken Superstars. First, the Monk, which I don't actually think is too bad, at least compared to the rest. He has a high cost to balance his utility and needs to be 2 or 3 stars to get good value, but I think he's too bulky as it stands. Superstars should have to be played with a tankier frontline to protect them instead of the backline heavy comps they're in right now, and cutting the Monk's health would limit him as a standalone tank, plus he's more likely to die before his ability pops. Next, the Musk. The biggest problem with her right now is that her knockback allows the Witch to spawn more skeletons that then clog up the board. I propose that she only knocks troops back 1 or maybe 2 tiles, since then she could recast for more distance anyways, and that's still enough distance and stun for a new wave of skeletons to protect her. Now before we get to the elephant in the room, we gotta handle the strongest card in Merge Tactics, the Witch. The real problem is her oppressive skeletons, but simply reverting an old balance change and extending her ability timer would keep them more manageable. And finally, the Electro Giant. His growing ability field is absolutely ridiculous, but
I'm not gonna remove it. Instead, I think its range should be capped based on his star level. At 1 star, it's stuck as normal. At 2, your first recast still expands it, but not the second one, and so on. He'd still have high potential, but he's also very contested between giants and superstars, and that should prevent maxing him very easily. Except for the 4 stars modifier. It's a lost cause. Am I the greatest visionary the Merge Tactics community has ever seen? Or am I tweaking? Let me know if my ideas are trash and how you would fix this crazy meta in the comments.